Hello everyone, my name's Claire Varley and welcome back to this week's episode of EDFL Web TV. I'm joined today by the two Adems, Adem Saricaoglu and Adem Russell. Thank you for being here today at the Pascoe Vale Hotel. First up with Adem Saricaoglu, Strathmore have had a pretty tough time in the last couple of weeks. What do you make of their recent woes?
Yeah, it's a strange old form line for a side that's chasing back-to-back flags and a side that still has a lot of talent in there. You look at them on paper and they really should be near the top of the ladder. But it's funny, guys, the Essendon VFL side's having an amazing impact on this footy club at the moment. We know Matt Little is basically not available most weeks because he is Essendon's GM at VFL level. And on the weekend, we saw Mitch Purcell actually go down with concussion, missed a lot of the game for Essendon. Tagliabue as well, who played the week before for Strathmore, was playing for Essendon. So obviously that will have an impact on their best 22. But regardless of that, on the weekend, Strathmore had a lot of premiership players in this side, a lot of guns. So it's a strange old situation. I reckon it'll be fascinating to see what they do off-season, guys, how they just top up this list, because I think they're going to be a force again. We're hearing whispers of just how they might just tinker with that playing list that they have got. They'll be fascinating to watch over the summer.
And now let's head over to Adem Russell Sprouts. Adem, can West Coburg and Airport West prepare for the 2016 season as legitimate Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division contenders?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to survive relegation this season. The Northern Saints look like a little bit of trouble. Both those clubs have got a couple of premiership points and a lot of percentage on the Northern Saints as well. But I think the real main concern for both those clubs is they haven't beaten a side above them. But I think West Coburg, they come up against Marby Park next weekend, and they'll have a real crack at that game and try and notch one up on one of the higher teams in the league.
And now let's head back over to the Chief. Looking back at Craigieburn's last few games, would it suggest that they're perhaps too reliant on two brothers named Cloak?
The evidence, Claire, suggests that it's quite obvious, I reckon, that too much of their firepower up forward has gone through to Cloaks this year, and I know that they've got a lot of other guns in that side. I'm a really big fan of Dave Caruso and Nick Fletcher as well, and they've got some really good young gun 18s that are currently playing senior footy down at the Eagles as well. But ever since we saw it live, guys, at EDFL Match of the Day against Dooders, and we saw Jason Cloak go down and miss basically, I think it was most of the last quarter, perhaps it was in the third quarter when he went down. And ever since then, basically, since that moment, they've been faltering. They only just scraped over the line against Hillside last week, and then they've gone down again this week. So I'm a bit worried about Craigieburn right now. For mine, Dooders are the clear favourite, and they've got to come up with a plan B, basically, because I do think that too much of their success came from the Cloaks this year. But well done to Cam. Obviously, he kicked 5 on the weekend.
Sprouts, Tullamarine suffered a loss over the weekend. How detrimental is that loss to their season? Yeah,
it was a big win for West Meadows over Tullamarine last week, but it really opens up that premiership or finals race in Division 1. You've got West Meadows, Oak Park and Tullamarine that can still make finals, and with Dooders and Craigieburn looking pretty hot at the moment. But it doesn't get any easier for Tullamarine at the moment. They've got Dooders on the weekend, and then they've got a red-hot Hillside, and then that clash in round 17 up against Oak Park really could be defining for both clubs and how their season goes.
And Chief, Keilor Park had a loss to East Sunbury over the weekend. How significant is that win for East Sunbury?
Absolutely massive, guys. They have finally beaten the club that is not named Burnside Heights. Congratulations to everyone down at East Sunbury for, I suppose, claiming a scalp. That's, I suppose, has been an established EDFL club. Maybe the biggest story coming out of this is Keilor Park. They've now gone down to Burnside Heights and East Sunbury this year, so they need to basically reassess where they're at and try and, again, push for finals in the next couple of years. They were a contender in the first couple of years as a Division 2 club, and they've obviously gone down a little bit this year. We know why. They've had a pretty big exodus of players and whatnot, but obviously they've got to reassess, I suppose, where they're at and go again next year. But East Sunbury, obviously, Ash Fleming kicked 3 goals, best on ground. Congratulations to you, Ash, and everyone down at East Sunbury as well. Enjoy that win, but obviously let's start building on that now and making sure that it's a bit more of a common occurrence where you're beating someone that is already established as an EDFL club.
Let's head back over to Sprouts. Roxy Park defeated the previously undefeated Hadfield over the weekend. How does that open up the premiership race in Strathmore Community Bank Division 2? Yeah,
well, we were there, Claire, for EDFL Radio, and it was a great match, and I've been a big fan of Roxy Park this season. I'm really impressed about the way they go about their football. The thing that probably impressed me the most was no Matt Walker in that side on the weekend. He's kicked 42 goals for the season, but they had guys like Jaden Walker, he kicked 5. Omagrosso, our best on ground, chipped in with 2 goals, and I think Kapawai Wano also had 3 goals to his name. So it was a really overall strong effort by Roxy Park, but I wouldn't write off Hadfield just yet. They're still probably the premiership favourite, but I think Roxy have well and truly established themselves as the second favourite in Division 2, and it really, with Chicana in hot form and Moonee Valley dropping off a little bit, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in Community Bank, Strathmore Community Bank Division 2.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. I get them confused sometimes too. And now let's look ahead to the week to come. We'll head back over to Chief. Chief, what is there possibly for Marby to achieve in their game against Aberfeldy this weekend at Monk Oval?
As strange as it sounds, this is probably to stand out this weekend in Premier, and we're all expecting Abbas to win. I guess, Claire, you're the tipster, you'd know best. But look, what can Marby achieve? As dismissive as this sounds, it's probably nothing. Marby may as well be a bunch of undergrad students in a lecture theatre ready to learn a lesson or two, because that's maybe all they can get out of this game. Obviously, try and take it up to the benchmark in Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division and really take it up to them and push them and see what you can do. But I don't think they're going to win this game. To be honest, if they probably go down by 7 or 8 goals, it might still be a win. They're just unstoppable right now, Aberfeldy. We still haven't really seen what their weakness is. We all suspect it's probably upstairs, but so far so good. They've kept it all together, and Adam Potter deserves a lot of credit for that. But as far as Marby's concerned, look, just take what you can out of the game, I guess. Learn your lesson, see what the benchmark is to be a contender in Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division, and use that going forward, because unfortunately Marby have had the sort of year where they've been unable to get their best 22 out on the park.
Other Adam, the big game in Essendon 4 Division 1 this weekend is Hillside at Glenroy. Do you think Hillside can do it again and go back-to-back?
Yeah, most definitely, Claire. I saw Hillside a couple of weeks ago come up against East Kill, and at the time they were the side at the bottom of the ladder, but if you told me they were fighting out for relegation, I wouldn't have believed you, because they looked like a red-hot premiership contender side. They looked really good, and they've got the form line to prove it. They had a draw up against Oak Park, the narrow loss to Craigieburn, and a big win on the weekend. So I really like the way Hillside and their TSC Cup players go about their footy. But at the same time, Glenroy, they're not playing too bad at the moment. They had a good win up against Tullamarine last week, and I saw them in a half against West Meadows, where they played some really good football. So I think they wouldn't be out of this contest, but I think the way Hillside are going about their football at the moment, they should go in favourites, and we'll probably get the win on the weekend. Interesting.
Back to the Chief. After Hadfield suffered their defeat over the weekend, do you think that coming up to the broadcast game, Chicana can pull their biggest scalp yet and defeat Hadfield?
Well said, Claire. It is the broadcast game this weekend, 98.9 Northwest FM and Team App as well. And look, one thing, I don't know if we've ignored it, guys. We've kind of neglected Chicana a bit. They have won 6 in a row. They are almost the form team. They probably are the form team in Strathmore Community Bank Division 2 at the moment, after Hadfield went down on the weekend. I think this is a really intriguing game, guys. We know that Hadfield are now gettable, as Sprouts you saw live on the weekend, and Claire. And obviously Chicana have won that 6 in a row, and there's just an X factor that has been completely destroying the competition in Division 2, and that is Chris Johnson, the triple premiership player for the Brisbane Lions. If he turns up and has a big day for the Jags, then it's going to be really hard work for Hadfield. But I'm still tipping Hadfield. Obviously, I think they'll bounce back after the loss to Roxy. But I really hope Chicana can improve on their first 2 games this year against Haddie, where they got smashed. But as I said, broadcast game this weekend, 98.9 Northwest FM. You can also listen in on Team App. Beautiful quality when you listen to the radio show on Team App. 1 p.m. all the way through to 5:30. Big pre-game as well, guys. Make sure you stay tuned before the game, 1 to 2 p.m. We've got a little something planned for that preview show, so make sure you're tuning in for that one.
And that wraps up this edition of EDFL Web TV. Make sure to head out to Canning Reserve this Wednesday at 7 p.m. for the big clash between the Northern Saints and Avondale Heights. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you all again next week.